Hey, y'all know that song. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. That song that made you want to drain your cheating boyfriend's credit cards, max out his Target card, and disappear into thin air like he never even existed. Yeah, that song. Oops, there goes gravity. The anthem that told every woman in the early 2000s that petty revenge was not just allowed, it was required. But here's the thing. Behind that powerhouse voice, those catchy lyrics, and that whole rage-filled energy, there's a woman with a story so wild, so chaotic, so absolutely unhinged that it'll make your head spin faster than her career took off. So buckle up, sis, because we are about to dive deep into the messy, fabulous, occasionally shocking world of Blu Cantrell, the R&B diva who went from dominating the Billboard charts to screaming about gas poisoning at 2 a.m. in the middle of Santa Monica, like it was part of her promotional tour. And honey, she was committed to the bit. Now, before all the drama, before the revenge anthems, before the late-night breakdowns on the streets of California, there was just a regular girl with a not-so-regular destiny. Her government name? Tiffany Cobb. I know, it doesn't exactly scream future icon, right? Sounds more like someone who would show up to your house with a briefcase and say, "Ma'am, we need to talk about your taxes." But this girl? She had other plans. She ditched that government name faster than you can say reinvention, and picked something that sounds like an expensive cocktail you'd order at a bougie hotel bar to make yourself feel fancy. Blu Cantrell. Expensive, dramatic, unforgettable. Exactly what she needed. So where did Blu Cantrell come from? Providence, Rhode Island? Now, if you know anything about Providence, you know it's where the accents are thick, the attitudes are thicker, and the winters are absolutely petty. Her mom? Susie Franco. Not just any mom, though, a literal beauty queen. So the DNA for drama? It was already there, swimming in her bloodstream like it was a pre-existing condition. Blu was the second oldest of 6 kids, which means she grew up fighting for attention, fighting for food, probably fighting for the bathroom. That kind of childhood that breeds stars or absolute chaos. In Blu's case, it was both. Now here's where it gets absolutely unhinged. Blu was so, and I mean so, obsessed with the color blue that she literally demanded blue birthday cakes every single year. Not just a cake with blue frosting, a blue cake. Imagine being that emotionally attached to a Crayola shade by the time you hit elementary school. That's not just a preference, baby. That's a whole personality disorder waiting to happen. That's future diva energy already bubbling to the surface. This was a girl who knew what she wanted and was not afraid to scream about it until she got it. But before she became a diva, she had actual talent, real vocals. Not the auto-tune me and pray kind of vocals that get you a record deal in 2024. We're talking genuine, no filter, make you close your eyes and feel it vocals. And even as a kid, she knew she could sing. She tried out for the role of Annie in the 1982 musical. You know, the classic. Didn't get it. Didn't even make the cut. And you know what? She took that personally. Like, personally. She filed that rejection away in her mental vault. And I'm convinced that's where all the revenge energy in her music came from later. That's the origin story nobody talks about. This girl had been denied before, and she was not about to let it happen again. So she did what you gotta do when the bills are knocking on your door and your family's got 5 other mouths to feed. She used her voice. She became a backup singer, harmonizing in the shadows of some seriously big names. We're talking Sean Puffy Combs. And look, I'm sure she kept her distance from the baby oil situation because, babe, the early 2000s were wild. She wasn't just a background voice either. She was part of a girl group called 8th Avenue, which honestly sounds like a dope streetwear brand, but it was actually a short-lived group mentored by Teddy Riley. And I mean short-lived. This group flopped harder than a Wi-Fi signal on an airplane. Like, they crashed and burned before they even got off the ground. But here's where it gets interesting. After the whole 8th Avenue disaster, she got introduced to a producer named Tricky Stewart. And Tricky? This man didn't just hand out record deals like they were Halloween candy at a rich neighborhood. He saw something in Blu that made him go, "Wait, hold on. I'm changing my whole business plan for this girl." After literally one killer studio session, Tricky ditched his original girl group plans, scrapped them, gone. He was like, "Nope, I'm going all in on Blu." So she moved into his place in Atlanta. This is where things got real. This is where her life changed. And then came L.A. Reid. Oh, honey. L.A. Reid, the man who would become her mentor, her champion, her ticket to the big time. She's in his office, she starts singing, and this man, a literal legend in the music industry, is sitting there, and he doesn't even need a second verse. He doesn't even need the full first verse. He's ready to sign her right then and there. Like, he probably didn't literally stand up and scream, "Where do I sign?" But the energy was definitely that chaotic. That's power. That's a voice so undeniable that established industry giants stop everything they're doing and put their name on the line for you. So in July 2001, Blu dropped her debut album, So Blue. And the critics? They were confused. Like, who is this girl? Where did she come from? Why haven't I heard of her? But then, hit 'em up style, oops, hit the airwaves, and suddenly the entire world was screaming her name. This song wasn't just a bop, this was a movement. This was a manifesto. This was every woman who ever got cheated on, lied to, disrespected, or played with giving themselves permission to go absolutely feral about it. Empty his credit cards? Yes. Drain his bank account? Absolutely. Have him waking up the next morning with nothing but regret and an empty wallet? That's not revenge, that's justice. This song became the revenge anthem of the entire decade. We're talking about a cultural moment. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing it. Worst day at work? Blast Oops in your car and suddenly you feel powerful again. Cheating boyfriend? That song was your soundtrack to leaving him. Beyonce would come along a few years later and tell women to put your hand down and turn around. But Blue told women to take action. She told women to be petty, to be bold, to be unapologetic about their fury. She was ahead of her time. The track hit #2 on the Billboard Hot 100, #2. And by 2002, Blue was everywhere. She was booked, she was busy, and she was wearing couture dresses at the Grammy Awards. She got nominated for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance and Best R&B Song. A newcomer. Just came out of nowhere. This was huge. This was her moment. And not only that, she even got a cameo in the movie Drumline, casually singing the national anthem like it was nothing. Like, oh, I'll just step in and bless y'all with the national anthem real quick. No big deal. Then 2003 hits, and Blue teams up with Sean Paul. Now, if you lived through the early to mid-2000s, you know exactly who Sean Paul is. That man who would mumble his way through every single dance hall track and somehow make you want to dance anyway. The king of unclear lyrics that somehow still hit. So Blue and Sean Paul dropped Breathe, and baby, this wasn't just a song. This was a moment. This was smooth, this was silky, this was absolutely hypnotic. The UK completely in a chokehold. Not #2 on the charts. Not #3. #1 for 4 straight weeks. 4 weeks. This became Blue's biggest global hit ever. And suddenly her second album, Bittersweet, was getting nominated for Grammy Awards too. Best R&B album. Critics were eating it up. They were reviewing it positively. They were talking about her depth and her talent. But here's where it gets messy. And I mean messy. America said, nah, we're good. The US market didn't really embrace it the same way. Maybe America wasn't ready for round 2 of Blue. Maybe they wanted her to be a one-hit wonder and keep it moving. But Europe said, we see you, sis, and we are not letting you go. They kept the love coming. They kept streaming her music. They kept her relevant when her own country was moving on. And then silence. Like, where did Blue go kind of silence? For years. Her label got merged with another company. Her mentor, L.A. Reid, decided to peace out. And Blue, she made the decision not to re-sign. She wasn't gonna let some corporation own her anymore. She became a free agent, hitting the road and doing her own thing. She did some stage acting in shows like Gossip, Lies, and Secrets, which, by the way, sounds like every single group chat between teenage girls ever. She even competed on NBC's Celebrity Circus. You remember that show? Where celebrities had to learn circus skills? Yeah, Blue competed. And you know what happened? She got booted first eliminated. And look, that's not even embarrassing when you think about it. But it definitely showed that this was not her lane. Her lane was music, baby. Her lane was that microphone. But now, hey, this is where the real tea starts spilling everywhere. It's 2014. Blu Cantrell is spotted. Not in a studio, not at a red carpet event, not doing anything normal. She's running through the streets of Santa Monica at 2 a.m., 2 in the morning, and she's screaming. Like screaming. She's yelling that someone poisoned her with gas. She's having a complete mental breakdown in the middle of the street. Witnesses are watching this unfold like they're watching a movie, and she's going absolutely berserk. Berserk. She's yelling about being a one-hit wonder, which, first of all, that's not true. We literally just talked about Breathe and the UK chart dominance, but that's what's in her head in this moment. And she's asking cops if they know who she is. Do you know who I am? Sir, ma'am, it's 2 a.m. in Santa Monica. Nobody knows who anybody is right now. She gets taken in for a psychiatric evaluation, and suddenly the headlines switch from Blu Cantrell releases new music to Blu Cantrell mental health crisis. The narrative flipped. Fans everywhere were whispering. Some felt bad, some were concerned, some were gossiping, and some were just confused. Where did this come from? What happened? This wasn't the Blu Cantrell story anyone wanted to see. But here's the thing about Blue that everybody knows but nobody talks about enough. Beyond all that chaos, beyond the 2 a.m. Santa Monica breakdown, this woman gives off perfect woman energy. Like, she's got the looks. She's got that voice that can make you cry or make you want to fight someone. She's got confidence for days. And she's got that unbothered aura that says, I know exactly who I am, and I don't need your validation or your approval. She doesn't broadcast her love life all over social media. She doesn't do attention-seeking relationships that you can follow in real time on Instagram. She rarely feeds the gossip blogs with drama or pictures or anything. She keeps it private. She keeps it classy. But the few people she has been linked to, oh, honey, let me tell you, the vibes were not always as smooth as her vocals. Not always, okay? So we're in 2003. And Blue was dating this NBA player. His name wasn't officially confirmed. You know how that goes in Hollywood, but the drama was loud. Things were going fine. Everything seemed perfect. They were vibing, they were happy. It seemed like a whole thing. And then Blue decides to do a Playboy UK photo shoot. Fully clothed, by the way. Not naked. Fully clothed, professional, artistic. But it's Playboy, so of course there's gonna be some spice to it, some sexy energy. This NBA player sees the photos and suddenly he realizes he has a problem. Suddenly he can't handle dating someone in the spotlight. Suddenly she's too much. Suddenly, he's not grown enough to handle a woman with ambition and a career that's thriving. And you know what he does? He ghosts her. He literally vanishes. Poof, gone, no explanation, no conversation, no mature discussion. He just dips out like he never existed. But Blue didn't fold. She didn't cry for a month and post sad songs on TikTok. She didn't call his phone crying. She kept it moving like a queen, like a woman who's used to men fumbling the bag and making stupid decisions. She literally just moved on. That's power. And then there was Tommy Lee. Yes, that Tommy Lee. From Mötley Crüe. The Tommy Lee, the rock legend, the wild man, the chaos agent himself. Now, before you get too excited, before you start imagining some absolute train wreck of a relationship, let me stop you right there. It wasn't messy. It was actually shockingly normal. I know, this is Tommy Lee we're talking about. But no, it was normal. They were spotted hanging out in 2003 after being introduced by their publicist, because that's how these things work in Hollywood. You know someone who knows someone who knows someone, and suddenly you're getting drinks with rock legends. They grabbed a few cocktails, they shared some friendly vibes, and that was pretty much it. No scandals, no drama. No reality TV-style meltdowns, no leaked texts, no angry Instagram posts, just two people from different music worlds casually kicking it, having a good time, and parting ways. And honestly, considering Tommy Lee's usual chaos levels, considering his history of absolute insanity, this might have been one of his most peaceful relationships ever. Blue really had that calming energy that made even the wildest rock stars chill out. But hold up, because this next part, this is where the real conspiracy theories start flying. This is where the internet goes absolutely haywire. The Blu Cantrell and Jay-Z rumors, yes, Jay-Z, the man himself, Huv. Mr. 99 Problems, Mr. Beyonce, Mr. Rock Nation, the guy who raps about champagne and luxury like it's a lifestyle documentary, the legend. Okay, so here's what we know. Back in the early 2000s, Jay-Z was everywhere. He was at the absolute top of his game, rich, respected, rapping about cars and money and success like it was therapy. Blue, meanwhile, was also blowing up big time. After Hit 'Em Up Style dropped, she was everywhere. They were moving in the same celebrity circles. They were both in the R&B and hip-hop ecosystem. Same parties, same events, same industry functions, same space. And then the rumors started. Just whispers at first, then full-on conversations. People were convinced that these two were more than just casual acquaintances. Folks swore they saw them getting cozy at industry events. There were whispers that Jay was checking for her, that he was interested. People were saying the chemistry between them was hotter than a July studio session in Atlanta, with the AC broken. Like, people were talking, fan blogs were exploding. Conspiracy theorists were connecting dots. People were convinced something was happening. But here's where it gets interesting. Years later, Blue is asked about it directly. And you know what she says? She sets the record straight. She says, "I never dated Jay-Z. I had a crush on him, but that's all. A crush. Just like a regular girl who thought a guy was fine." And honestly, who could blame her? This is Jay-Z we're talking about. He's successful, he's talented, he's fine as hell. He's everything. So yeah, she had a crush. That's human. That's normal. That's what happens when two attractive, talented people are in the same space. And the timing of this is crucial because this was before Beyonce and Jay became the literal power couple of the universe. This was before they became unstoppable. This was before the Carters became a brand. So if Blue had actually bagged Huv back then, if she had actually dated Jay-Z in the early 2000s, the timelines would have exploded. The internet would have broken. People would still be talking about it. The story would be completely different. But she didn't. It was just a crush. Just one of those Hollywood what-if moments that never happened. And then 2012 happens. Beyonce and Jay-Z have a daughter. And you know what they name her? Blue Ivy Carter. Now, coincidence? Maybe, probably, but also maybe not. Suddenly, Blu Cantrell's entire search engine traffic disappears under a mountain of baby photos. Every search for Blue brings up baby Blue Ivy instead. The algorithm changes, the narrative shifts. And where does Blu Cantrell go? Where does her music go? It seems to vanish, and fans couldn't shake the feeling that her career got quietly erased. Like someone hit the delete button on her entire existence and made room for baby Blue Ivy.